Reality is at your command and not the other way around. Reality is not telling you who you must be, or telling you how you should behave, or telling you what is truth, what is possible. None of that matters. And I'm going to teach you exactly why are you the one that is at your command, that is in command of your life, in command of your reality, and also in command of your own identity, of your own internal reality. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to a new video, to a new episode. My name is Margarida and I'm here to teach you everything about God's consciousness manifestation for you to live the best life in every area of your life, for you to be your most fulfilling version. And it's simpler than we thought. So come along, have fun. So I want to talk to you today about reality is at your command. It's not the other way around. I know that we've been taught since we were young that now that's the way things are. Now you see that's why you are not good enough. That's why you can have that. That's why it's impossible. That's why that means something about you, right? And we are always, like, we've been taught to let ourselves be defined and be defined constantly by our own reality, by the physical world, by the circumstances, by what matter is showing to us. But what people didn't know is that we are seeing things the way they are because we are being the way we are. So this means that in order for us to change anything in the matter, in the circumstances, in the people think it's the outside world, but I will teach you in a second that is not the outside world. People think like they don't know that actually things are the way they are because we are being the way that we are internally, and we are consenting to what we are seeing, what we are experiencing in our five senses. We are like, yeah, I guess this is it. I'm consenting to that. I'm choosing to believe that as truth, and I'm choosing to make it mean something about me. I'm making this decision that this means something about me, that circumstance means that I am ... that I can ... You know what I'm getting? You know what I mean? Like we have to change this. We have to start living life in this new paradigm. And that's why I feel very called here to do, is to show you these new perspectives, these new paradigms that allow you to truly live the life that you always wanted, to truly be the version of you that you always wanted to be, that you felt like the reality outside of you was like making you behave in a certain way and was stopping you. And it's like that quote that now annoys me when I hear it, is that, like, people say it as a joke, but like, what would you do if money was no problem? I'm like, that's not what we should focus on. Like, money is not the problem. The problem is the beliefs that I have about money. The problem is who do I think to be inside of me. The problem is what I'm choosing and deciding to be truth or not inside. And because the physical world is actually not a physical world, and then there's the internal world. There is just one internal world. The physical world is not separate. The physical world is a projection, is the expression, is the shadow, is the mirror. The physical world is actually happening within our consciousness. So it's like we're living in a dream. When you go to sleep and you are dreaming, everything is happening in your consciousness. This is the same. And I listened to this little song on the internet that was like, am I in a dream or am I living in my dream? And this is the thing. Like, are you feeling like, yes, no, I'm in this dream that I don't like? Or you start to wake up to wake up to how reality works, to wake up to who you truly are, to wake up to these new paradigms, to these new perspectives that will set you free, and to realize I'm living in my dream. If I choose to, I'm living in my dream. I'm living in my dream. So I have the choice to command this dream. There's nothing outside of me. The physical world is not separate from me. The physical world is the way it is because I'm being the way that I am. The physical world seems to be solid and stagnant and still and like hard to change. The physical world is simply energy. Energy. Everything is simply energy vibrating in different frequencies. If you love quantum physics, and if you have died a little bit, you know this experiment where they talk about the collapse of the wave function, which means by my own observation, like matter, the electrons, the photons, they can behave either as particles or as waves. So when they are in particles, like they become solid, right? Like they seem to be solid. And when they're a wave, it's like, yeah, we don't really see it. It's like a potential, but it's not really potential. It exists, it's there. But by my own observation in that experiment, when they were observing and measuring the behavior of the photons and of the electrons, they stop behaving as wave, they start behaving as a particle. And they will collapse the wave function. And they will become like matter, and they will become like circumstances. They will become things. They will become the physical world. But it was because I was observing them, because I was expecting them to behave in that way, to be it the way that I was expecting them to be. Because actually, so interestingly, in that experiment, when they have like the measure instruments there, to measure if they were behaving as a wave or particle. If the measurement instruments were not turned on and they were not actually getting any data, the particles, the photons and the electrons, they will still behave as waves. Only when you put that intention, that goal, that observation, when they did turn on the measurement instruments and they're like, I'm measuring this, then they will behave like matter, they will collapse the wave function. So this means that actually I'm the one that is defining everything in a certain way, and I see that reflected in my world. I see that reflected in my circumstances. I see that reflected in the physical world. But there is no separation from the internal world and from the external world. Like we call it like, oh yeah, it's a 3D. But there's no like 3D even. Like everything is just energy vibrating on a different frequency. As I spoke in the previous video on my social media, like this bed seems very solid, but she's simply energy vibrating on a very slow frequency. So it seems that it's stagnant and solid. But if you go study it and dive deeper, she's vibrating a lot, she's moving a lot, she's changing a lot. So this means that everything in your real reality is here now. And I had this insight as well by reading to different sources. And then I joined and I was like, oh wow, that's it. So reality, I was reading this from one of my mentors. He was saying like reality is like a point, okay? It's like a point here. And everything exists in the present moment, in this moment, here now. It's like a point, okay? And everything is like condensed into this point. All the different realities, all the different perspectives, all the different experiences is just condensed in this point. But what this means, and also is aligned with what Bashar teaches, for example, that we actually, that like things don't manifest out of a sudden. Things are already here. Everything is already here. Everything is created. Everything is done. Everything already exists. And Bashar teaches that, like, we are not making new things to pop up and to be created. We are just now, by changing our beliefs, or concepts or opinions or perspective and views. We start to see the world and the reality from this new perspective. So it's like we put this new lens on and we start to see new things. They feel like they are popping up, but the thing is, like, my new point of consciousness, who do I think I am, the version of me that I'm deciding, choosing to be inside of me, has a different frequency. So now I'm going to start seeing things that are in the same vibration. So, but they were already there. I was simply not seeing them. I was not using the right lens. I was not using the lens that were a match to those things. But things are already here. Everything is already here. One of the other teachers called Rupert Spira, I once watched this video and he was saying, like, reality, we feel really weird when we hear like, oh, like time and space are just concepts that don't exist. They are not truth. And so he was giving the example, like, if you think about a book and you take the space, so you take the pages and you take the time, it's like you lift all the letters, all the sentences, like imagine them in front of you in the air, and then if you take the space and if you take the time, they get condensed into one point. And then if you give them space and time again, they stretch out all the letters, all the sentences, right? But this means that everything is in this point. And by your perspective, you are going to experience, feel like new realities, right? By your perspective, by you choosing and doing a simple identity shift of, now I am this version of me. Now I am this person that from this moment I get to choose that money is easy to make. I get to choose that everything is so easy in my life and happens so fast in my life. When you are shifting these beliefs, and it's so simple to, it's just a choice, it's a decision. And when you simply decide to be this new identity, you just decide to be this new identity, and that identity has its own beliefs, has its own emotions, has its own behaviors, and you just observe that identity playing out. And when you have this new identity and you have this choice, you change your self-concept, you change who you think you are, you change who you are accepting to be, you change like the internal reality that you are occupying. You made a shift, and that is through manifestation. In that moment, you are living in a different reality. You are going to experience things that the previous version of you, like the other versions of you, didn't, because now you're seeing things from a new perspective. You are vibrating on a new frequency. So the things that are a match to that frequency, they are going to pop up, and the other things that they are not, they are going to go away. But they are not like coming away from any, like, and popping up from any place far away from you. They're already here. They already exist. That's why everything is already created. That's why everything already exists. And reality is at your command, because the moment you choose to be a new version of you and a new identity, and you choose to change your opinions, because a belief is just an opinion, and you choose to now on decide to believe as truth, because beliefs and ideas and concepts, you choose to believe them as truth or not. And in that moment, you can choose to believe as truth what is more resonating to the version of you that you prefer. And in that moment, when you do that, boom, quantum jump, quantum shift, you just shift to the realities. You are now being a new version. You are now experimenting a new version. Let go, don't react to your mind. Stay in the present moment, stay as an observer, and follow the synchronicities and follow your excitement, and see how reality is at your command. Command things. Don't pray for things, don't hope for things. Command, choose, decide, boom, you're that. That is living as God. Because God is not, I'm becoming this. God decides and He is. God always is. You are all, that's why I keep saying, like, you are always all those versions of you. Because you are God's consciousness. You are the source itself. So when you feel excitement to experience a different reality, a different version of you, you don't are like, yeah, I guess I will spend a few months becoming this version. You can choose that path, but I'm showing you a different one, an easier one, a one that feels more aligned to the fact that we are God's consciousness, at least for me. That is, I'm making this choice, and this is who I am now. I'm choosing and I am this. It's a decision. A command is a decision. You gotta trust more your decision. You gotta trust more your command because you are already like a great commander, like you keep commanding reality all the time. When you say, yeah, money's hard to make, yeah, things never work out for me, what are you experiencing? I bet you're experiencing the same thing. That. You are experiencing exactly that because things are the way they are because you are being the way that you are. So if you want to shift, if you want to command differently, start here. Start here. Nothing is outside of you. Nothing is hard for you, only if you choose and to believe that. And then, yes, of course, you're going to experience that. But you don't have to. I'm just calling you out a different path. Maybe it's simpler. Maybe you could try. Maybe you could start remembering that you're God's consciousness, that you are everything, and that things don't take time, and that you are automatically and instantaneously that version of you. So it's not about being, it's not about becoming, it's about I am. It's about be. Be that. Be that now. Command that now. And just stay there. Stay there and see the magic unfold in your life. So that was the video of today. I hope you enjoyed me. I hope you did enjoy me. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And comment down below. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. Rate the podcast. And also subscribe to the channel. I'm so happy that you're here. And you can press the bell so you know when new videos are up. And yes, you are the magical. Reality is at your command. What are you waiting for? Much love.